Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, evening, whatever time zone the world you all are. It's your blog of Gacha where beginner artist self-proclaimed and your boy Tosanyu. Welcome to the stream. For today I will be drawing fan art of a Touhou character, which is the Expressive Poker Face Hata no Kokoro. This can like take about 2 hours on average, maybe 1 hour if I'm like fast, but you can like roughly expect like something like in this length. You have on the left side some samples, so if it's like with GB art, there's like something a quality and time span you can expect, and yeah. And I will be yapping this time, so feel free to keep this in background, have the speed gem also, whatever, look at it every now and then to see like how far I've come, since art can somewhat take time. But yeah, let's go. I would like to say I do like every week at least like one art stream minimum. Things like I always have free time and I need to do something to not get rusty, so this is at least like something I would like to say. Since she's the expressive poker face, you know, so her face is stone cold, but she does feel emotion, and she does like to express his body language if the face cannot really make up for it. So we'll be doing something like that. That I let her speak with body language. I'm not sure how far I can come with like only a chibi form, but let's see. There's a lot you can like do. She has been like a character that brought me in and dug me like deeper into like the Touhou Project. It began like for me like roughly like when I played a fan game, you know, that I like was like, man, this was just a fan game? Touhou Project? What the hell is that, you know? And then you know, in this terms of like this just a fan game, when I played like a game I could like download for like free or so, not really sure like that I remember, it might have, but it was like a fan made game, so I kind of like think like, yeah, I guess makes sense when it's like you know, when you can play that and it doesn't cost you much, but doesn't cost you anything. But I was like not thinking, man, it's pretty good, and then do they make money off that also is some kind of passion project, and then it's like, ah, that's a fan made, they got like the assets from somewhere here, but like made their own game of that, you know. It used like the sprites of like the fighting game spin-offs, or like the side games, fighting games, like games on like from like the official Touhou mainline game. And it was like, yeah, okay, it was pretty well made actually. Usually it was like a fighter games, so like 1v1 or so, but the fan game I played was like it's like more like a platformer, you know, like a Metroidvania. It was like called Touhou Wandering Souls. This kind of like brought me like in, but what really like pulled me to like actually play the bullet hell and like actually try to finish it, you know, was like when I witnessed like when I got like to know of Hata no Kokoro's existence, let's say, because I look at her design, you know, and she looked like, yeah, she looked like pretty interesting, had like a lot of aura. Usually official Touhou character designs are like pretty because Zun Sensei did draw them. The god has drawn them, you know. And let's say Zun's art is not necessarily the greatest, you know. He like made the game, he made the music, art, level design, whatever. But he was not really great at drawing. I mean, yeah. And I was like pretty particular like when it comes to the drawings, you know, back in the days. So I would always like look at the fan art and so, but when I look at the fan against me, like, man, the drawing, the art style there is a lot better. It's like based on like Sin's art, you know, like character design wise, but the art style, you know, they have like more skill. They actually like have like knowledge about anatomy and everything, like how to make the characters look cute, you know, something like that. And but I didn't like really stumble like via the fighting game, but like via, you know, the dojin kind of thing, like dojin of like fan-made, you know, that is like that I scrolled on YouTube. There was like music, you know, Touhou music, and there was like a fan like remix, let's say like a remix of like Hata no Kokoro's theme, but like with vocals and so. It wasn't the theme of like, you know, like Japanese music that sounds like really anime, but don't have an anime. Something like that. And I found like such a music piece like with Hata no Kokoro. I talked like about it before, but the song was like called Croissant Moon. It was made by the Touhou Dojin circle Feld. Nowadays Feld has retired, graduated, they disbanded. End of an era kind of, but the song had like emotions, a message and so. And I looked like at the silhouette of this Touhou girl that was like on the cover album, or like at least like thumbnail or whatever. It was like subtitled, you know, this video, and it just like showed like the image, and they played like around like a little bit with composition here and there, like, you know, it never released a music video. It's just like pure music. It was like about the fans to like translate that, you know, that we know what the meaning is, and then yeah, it was like just their way of like sharing like their love for the fandom or something like that. And yes. And let's say I felt that love. I felt it, you know, when I also like heard the song. And yeah, Kokoro no Hata was like one thing that was like in the song, like lyric wise. So then I was like curious, hey, who's this girl? Hata no Kokoro. Man, she looks cool. Okay, this is the original BGM, original theme song, like how it sounds, and yeah. I had a little bit struggled to understand how much did they use from the basis of like the original, but I don't really notice that much or so. Like some melody got used, but then yeah, it was pretty good. The long-haired pink little girl with which like power and like lore is based on the no masks that you see like in festivals or so. Like in Demon Slayer, for example, you see like some characters that you wear like masks or so, right? And it's like pretty much like this. I think like in season 1 there was like this kind of old man that teaches like Tanjiro to use like the breathing sword style technique or so. He had like a Tengu mask or something like that, and basically Kokoro uses like those kind of masks to express their emotions, and the Tengu mask also looks kind of angry or so. Yeah, what it is actually kind of like, yeah, I don't know, like what kind of emotion would that be, but yeah, it's something like that. And she's expressive, so I think like, yeah, I'm gonna use something like of a pose for her. Not really sure like what I'm thinking here, but currently ReZero's like on the start, right? So maybe go for that. It's like she has expressions, but there's nothing in her face. You can make like the thing of like no expression, emotionless, really pretty if you draw them like, I don't know, like not in chibi form, of course, I would say. Like Ayane Meirei also, right? Like kudere characters. Let's say like that kudere kind of archetype back in the days was like my kind of like character genre I fell for. I like those kind of mysterious calm characters rather than like those Genki ones that are like really full of energy, really happy, and be like, you know, yeah, hello everyone and whatever, you know, give everyone nicknames. So like the Gyaru type kind of, or those that are like socially really outgoing. Like when someone's keep pushing me, when I, you know, and I want to take like 1 or 2 steps back. But when someone is like not really pushing, but seclude themselves, respect everything I do, you know, and they have like a mysterious air about them, I'm kind of like, huh, I kind of want to know more about them. And then instead of like going away, I want actually to take steps towards them, you know, like approach them. And hey, maybe I can hang out with them, they seem chill, you know, something like that. It was like kind of like, for me, the thing. So that's like how I kind of like felt like, yeah, I'm gonna check out Kokoro more. But when I like, you know, at some point like look at Koishi, I was like, man, actually I really overlooked that girl. Really interesting. But just like from first kind of impressions, I was like thinking, okay, that's the girl, you know. That must be her. That must be it. I'm gonna like see. But because I got like through her to like deeper into Touhou, I wanna draw Fanart. And in a few days it will be also like her birthday more or less. Like the release date of like Hopeless Masquerade. Like this kind of game series where she like made her debut. I think I can like draw a little bit dirtier. I'm not sure like what kind of face I should give her. But let's see. Maybe draw like with a different pen. And to be honest, like when you give a character like this kind of like expression, of like having no expression, but then they have like some mystery about them, why they're like this way. It does like something. But at some point, you know, there's like not much more to like get, because the kind of like thing with Touhou lore is that the joy like in that is like about theorizing, but I'm always looking for things that are already there, and then yeah, at some point you won't like find much. It's kind of like, you know, even it's kind of like trying to love it, but there's like not much there anymore, you know. And some people like find like, you know, the way to like fill that gap is like by doing it themselves. There was like this kind of like unsatisfactory end, more or less, that, you know, Koichi like found hope for a moment, you know, because she did come in contact with the Mass of Hope that Kokoro did lost, you know. And if you kind of interpret like the lore of like Koichi, it could really be like that she experienced something in her past that really make her lose all hope, that she started to like close herself off, so that she's not able anymore to like read anyone's people's minds. Instead like disappears like from the sight of people, you know, like she controls the subconscious, which is her power. But when finding that hope, I wonder, could be really good friends with like Coco, since they're like kind of the polar opposites. But the things like opposites attract each other actually, you know. They could have been friends, but you know, law is like, oh, I hate the guts out of you, Koichi, you stole my Mars or something like that, and they not getting along, I suppose. But the fandom was like, nah, let them be friends, you know, and then this is more interesting that way, I suppose. But yeah, well, like, see, I don't really think that Sin thinks too much about the story, you know. It's like about the cool music and, oh, they're cute, right? And then this makes a level design or something like that. Like, Sin, kind of like what I heard, is like, he only starts like when he's drunk or so. He only does it while he's like in a drunk state or something like that, drunk master. And it's kind of like, yeah, kind of bad, but at the same time, yeah. Maybe I should make the body really smaller. Not sure. Not the whole body. Maybe like part of the pose. How would I draw her? Maybe I started like those kind of character archetypes because I did like it back in the days when people would let me in peace. And, sometimes people like push themselves onto me, assume like things, you know, trying to read me, and yeah. It's like kind of like, you know, when you have a therapist or like psychologist and they try to get a read on you. Then I don't really like having this kind of like inner sphere being like forcefully opened, you know. I just want like not being noticed, you know, and have like live in my own world. I really like to decide to like run away. And if I look at those characters that seem like on the calmer side, not so pushy, you know, I kind of like feel like she's just like me, for real, you know, something like that. This is like kind of like where I was kind of like drifted back in the days. Nowadays, you know, my taste has expanded. I do like those social characters, kind of more. And it is important when there is like, you know, when one is like not really social, that you need to give them someone social to compensate. Because at the end of the day, humans are social creatures. They crave like for something like connection at the end of the day. Like we are like that, you know. That's like why we sometimes, you know, are very polite to each other instead of like openly cynical and start fighting with each other like on social media or so, whatever, which is like pretty bad for mental health. You keep like you know, being on guard, and you know, it is good like to let your guard like down in real life, you know, and be on the best behavior with each other. You have no enemies, actually. But back in the days I didn't really understood that, you know. I assumed like the worst. And kept my expectations low. So that that doesn't hurt as much when you get disappointed by the end of the day. But still, you somewhat have to keep it low, just in case, you know, if you start with like new anime or so. Like sure, there can be like masterpieces out there, but not everything will be a masterpiece. Not everything will be a 10 out of 10 experience, you know. It might be a 9 out of 10 at best. The thing is, I will never like give like 100 points or something, like 100 out of 100, you know, because there's like a risk that there will be something that can top that, you know. If you're gonna say like, yeah, 100 out of 100, you know, that means there's no one else that can top it. But if you say like, maybe 90 out of 100, you know, then there might be 10 other people potentially that can beat that score. That there's not the magnum opus, you know, more or less. Like with two characters, for example, I would like say that I found like a 10 out of 10 really. There are like too many really that I like, so I can't give like 2 like the 10 out of 10. But I must like say there's a lot of potential, like looking at the characters on like writing a really compelling story regarding them. Like just about the lore, you know, like basing of the lore, the abilities, and like what they're going through currently, like based on canon stuff. I'm pretty interested like in the Chireden, Subterranean Animism crew, you know. But I do also like Alice, Margaret, right? So she's like the puppet master, more or less, you know. but she's also a yokai, so it means like not a human. She lives alone, like a witch, you know, like in a house, secluded from humanity, deep in the forest. And let's say you are getting lost in the forest. When you see like, ah, there's a house, maybe I can like sleep there overnight. When you enter, then it's like dark, and when you like turn on the lights, there are a lot of like dolls in there, you know, like not Barbie dolls, but you know, like in those kind of dark fairy tale stories, you know, with dolls. They had like something scary about them. Even when Alice would appear, you know, because she's a yokai, not a human. Well, she looks like a human. She was a human, then she became a yokai. There are people like run away and be like, oh no, the witch is here, and this creepy doll house, let me run away, and something like that. And kind of like suggests she might be lonely. Maybe she created like those dolls to keep her company, you know. And it kind of like be like sad if you like see a person, you know, instead of like interacting with other human beings, you know, that they're like talking to their toys, whatever, you know. It's kind of like, yeah. And then kind of like, you know, maybe you want to be a special person to be on her side, more or less. It's kind of like, yeah, But also, she is actually very powerful, but she like hides his power also. She's like suppressing that power, never goes all out, even if she could potentially do. And when she like, she doesn't really like fighting as well, you know. And she does visit the human village every now and then, does like her puppet show, something like that. It's kind of like, you know, this girl is trying her best. And sometimes there's like Marisa paying her a visit or so. It's kind of like, yeah, this is like where she like can get to socialize a lot. And then it would also see her with Patchouli sometimes when Marisa's there, you know. Did I ever drew Alice Fanart? Not really, right? I suppose not. I drew like Parshi a few times. I kind of like think that with her it's also like pretty interesting of like the theme of like envy, you know. Because like social media is like a thing that also has like something to do with envy for a lot of like stuff. And like social media also like with well, there's a lot about that. I'm gonna check for references. There is a lot regarding art that you can use as a reference. Since Zin came up with the idea, but the final end product is actually a clean product. The final product is actually clean. It looks very clean. Alpha Sensei. Okay, let's see. I really need to draw regularly. Maybe like every second day. I don't always have like the time and energy to do that. Sometimes I come back from work and I have no more time because there's everything else on the schedule, like streaming, or I am broken. I need to restore myself. Then yeah. So if something that's used to be easy to draw, then it's like, oh no, how do I do this anymore? How did I used to do this back in the days? Tasukete kudasai. And then yeah, Drawing would be a skill that I don't really want to forget how to do. I did like meet cool people because of that. Then it becomes like the other skills of mine. Maybe like my skills in Smash Brothers. I used to be like power ranked. This would be a skill I would love to forget and trade it like with something like, yeah, let me speak better Japanese, you know? You can trade a skill of yours against another skill. But things like with life, you know, the game of life is like, once you spend your points, you cannot reinvest them, you know? With the game of life, it's like that. You cannot trade something. Once you've wasted your time on learning something, you cannot get that time back. Like, you can replace money, but not time, you know? But there are like a lot of things that I would like to like regain. Okay, maybe I should like try a different approach when like drawing here. But let's try with that as best as I can. I don't have to do it cleanly for now, just make sure they have like the shape somewhat. Maybe I can draw a bonus. I'm like fast enough, but I don't think I will be fast enough. It's like about 30 minutes plus, and let's say I haven't come that far yet. You sure want to play like Touhou with Hata and Kokoro as like the boss. But like not in a fighting game thing, but like bullet hell. I really would like to try that and spend like hours over hours, maybe like days, to like figure out how to play against a spell card and then like find an answer. But so far only like where fighting games is like possible. Like with people like trying to come up like, okay, this will probably have movesets or so, like this will look like this if she's like a bullet hell boss or so. There was like maybe only one case, like maybe like, you know, those side games? Like how to describe that? Like those games where you play as Aya, Shamai Maru, you know? Or like as the Amano Jaku girl, Seija? Not really sure like how her name it was anymore, but similar to like Sagume. She has like everything she says is like actually the opposite, and she can like turn things around like you know, like the opposite, right? Like you want to go right and then actually you go left, something like that. And this can And she had like some items or so that can help her to like beat like some really strong yokais or like Damaku like kind of players, so they play like with this in the same rule set. And I think like there was something you could like fight against Tenshi, Hinanabi Tenshi. Usually Tenshi was like a fighting game character, debuted as fighting game character, but some of those fighting game characters in Touhou, there is a version of like them being a boss in a kind of bullet hell setting, but not really, you know. It's just like you fight against one pattern over and over again, just instead of like having them going out with like several spell cards. Genu had like perfect freeze, you have like some other spell cards as well, you know, but yeah, it's kind of like that there's like a limit what you can like do. I hope like there is like something like Kokoro. I have to like check that out. I haven't like connected like with the main series of like Touhou long time, like with the main game series. The last one I was like, it was like with not with Okinamata, right? Or it was with Okinamata, and like yeah, it was something like that. Like where her theme song is like called "Entrusting This World to Idols." It's a badass name actually. Like Zins has like a really good name sense. Even if he's in drunk state, likes to drink his beer. And yeah, his majority of his games are available on like Steam, so technically you can buy him a beer. I like to like watch some of his interviews, you know. It's like those subtitles and such. Yeah. That guy is also like old. Okay, I'm hitting a limit, I think, of how much I can talk about Touhou. I think like last week I kind of like was able to talk like about pretty much what was like my mind regarding that. Reason I can't stream like for today is like we have like a holiday in Germany, national holiday. That means like for the day I can like kind of relax, have like the whole day for me. And let's say like last night I was pretty tired. It was like kind of 8 PM or like 9 PM, and I was like, oh, kind of tired. So I was like figuring I should like take a nap, but when I was like lying, you know, there while listening to a stream, you know, I really noticed how easy it could like be to just fall asleep. So what I did was just like turn my PC off, and then okay, let me sleep instead. And yeah. And I slept like 10 hours or so. usually when I have a work day, there's like not much time for me to like stay awake. Not much time for me to sleep actually. So my sleep varies like around 5 to 7 hours. It's like always less than 6 hours most of the times. And I need like a little bit more in order to restore properly. But I don't always have like the opportunities to. So it was kind of like nice that I could like sleep. Still, after that sleep I kind of feel like, kind of like not really satisfied, you know. Maybe because my brain kind of thinks like, man, Tosan, you wasted 10 hours of like your free time. What are you gonna do now? You know. And I have maybe like about 12 hours plus to like spend the day with. I really did my dailies, but at the same time, I really should quit my gacha games. I really should quit playing gacha games. They take too much time away, and I could use the time to do something more productive actually. You know? Just spend all this time on that. I think like 3 hours of gacha converted into 3 hours of like drawing. I think it would benefit the world and maybe my future a lot more. You know, if this time can be spent on developing a skill, making it better, you know, than like gaming. That you kind of like escape status quo and at some point level up. I mean, like drawing once a week is not bad, minimum, but it's just like about maintaining a status quo, you know, of like not getting rusty. But I could improve. Well, I say I don't really see a reason to improve yet, you know. Social media looks like pretty bad regarding trying to get clout, trying to get exposure and so. Getting followers and whatever, you know, so that you can expand your reach at some point. So yeah. And if you want to tell a story, I mean, good drawings can help. But at the same time, it's like, you know, like how some, like Akasaka Eye, like just like, okay, I make the story, you draw for me, something like that, you know. If he thinks like, yeah, maybe a different artist can do it better than me, something like that, then this is that. This lost sassy child. You know, kind of reminds me of like Hikari from Blue Archive, like the vibes that I get now from her, from Kokoro, the Expressive Poker Face. Like when this face stays like monotone, but she has like, does like those poses or whatever. Yeah, I suppose this could be her. She has emotions, she's expressive, but the face is like monotone. You know, I kind of get this now. But the thing is, like, there was the calmness about Kokoro's face, and then that she has aura, like with background is a Reiki Yokai, like with the mask, you know? And I thought, like, man, it's pretty cool. And then I get to when she's like a playable character, and she becomes a playable character, it's kind of like fun to play around. I think she is like, I know there's like their competitive scene, you know, like fighting game, you know, when you have like small roster that you can like kind of like, you know, make some tournaments. But yeah, I see like she's not being used really much. There's like something like with deck building there, this is where you can like make really cool custom combos in extenders and so. But Touhou is already super niche, so that means like, yeah, fighting game potential, like tournament potential, you know, is also like kind of like regarding that. But I thought like, yeah, it's pretty cool. This was pretty cool. I should not forget to draw a mask at the end. It's similar to like with the archive, like drawing halos. Like without the mask, she's like not really recognizable. But first of all, I need to kind of make sure that this is like alright. I have to remove or hide a part of that then later. But yeah. But man, I really want to buy like some merch regarding Touhou. I saw like the figurines that are like being made for them, and those pretty expensive ones, but those really large expensive ones, they look so good. There's like one with Kokoro as well, and I want that. She's like a dancer, like this girl here. So there will be like imagery of her like being seen where she's like having two fans, you know, like not the person fan, but like the object, you know, those fans. And that's like a version of her like using that, or she's like really a naginata, just like Japanese spears. I don't know how she summons that, but she can summon them, and 5 of that. And it's kind of like, I don't know. Something slaps about little girl wielding a gigantic weapon. Okay, a spear can be gigantic, you know. And to be honest, you don't need much skill. It's not like with a great sword like a Monster Hunter or like some Dark Souls builds, you know. But it's kind of like moe, I suppose. When you see like a long weapon and there's like a little girl wielding it or so. I don't know. It's moe. But what is more moe is like, you know, the thing like that works also in the lilies. We have like a little girl, really innocent looking, you know, pure. And then they're like around her knights in grimy, dirty armor. Those who protect her also. This is somewhat moe. The thing is, those are not like knights in shining armor. Those are like knights in dirty, grimy armor. Kinda suggest, you know, those knights made their hands dirty for this, you know, They actually fought, they know what like the taste of blood is like, they were on the battlefield, you know, and those, you know, if I think about this, they're more reliable than like some pussy, you know, who always like wants to maintain his armor, making sure it like looks clean, you know, wasting more time on that than like actually on taking care of what's actually like more important, I suppose. I'm not like sure when it kinda came through, you know, that those that have like some dirt on them in the arm ones, everything, you know, are like the ones you can trust rather than like the one who's like, you know, squeaky clean. It's like kind of like, yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. Like the one with the dirty armor is the real deal also. In kind of sense, you know, I kind of like think it kind of holds true. Like when you have a boss and he's like wearing a suit while you are like completely dirty, you know, I don't think like the boss is like someone you can trust, you know. They're like those knights in shining armor. They're kind of like, yeah, I have to like make sure I look like clean, I have like a suit, you know, business suit. They know like I know how to make business, but the thing is like they probably don't know like the point of view of like those people who are like working their ass off for them, you know, something like that. And then they don't really know like this kind of value or something like that. When they're all I can think is like about money, like those investors, something like that, you know, not necessarily like human. Like when you work like in an environment, I would like say that's like about cooking, you know, or like some restaurants, you know, the chef, not the chef, the boss probably is also someone who's like in the kitchen or like serves food, you know, and not like an office and whatever, you know, like something like Gus Fring, you know, someone who can actually like appreciate like the work like his people are like doing, like Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, something like that, you know. This would be a boss I could like trust. I would love to have a boss like that, or like Frieza, you know, I suppose. Frieza's like a kind of weird example like from Dragon Ball, but I would love to have someone like that. Rather than some pussy who is like hiding in the office, you know, and not lifting a finger for us. I would always like trust it and hide in the dirty armor, I suppose, over like someone in a shiny armor. That's kind of what I want to say. Yeah, I kind of came to this topic because of like talking about a girl and like oversized weapon also. It's kind of cute. It doesn't make sense much for like reality, you know. If it's like a big sword, something really heavy, but a spear, yeah, this works. You don't need much skill to wield a spear, even though it's a naginata, which is also a swinging weapon. It's much, for the most part, just a swinging weapon. But still works better than like oversized sword or axe or whatever. You can still stab with that, you still have reach. Anyway, yeah, this works. And if you can fly, then you don't need to worry about gravity that much. And then you can actually like spin like a Beyblade while like swing around like a long stick that can slash you, you know. Actually, I imagine this would be cool. This could be cool. Like a lot of like characters in Touhou, like I think like all of them that are like fightable as a boss, you know, can fly, they can levitate. There are like some characters like Ryonosuke, Hieda no Akyu, Kosusu, who like not necessarily like fighters and like participate in Damaku battles also. But yeah. But you know, having a character can archive like Akyu is kind of cool. I talked like about her once on stream, like when I played Touhou Lunar Nights. They're like kind of the archiver also. They have the ability that they can remember their past life. That's about it. So it means like that they can archive like things from the past and like write history with that, you know? Someone you can like trust in that kind of sense. But that's all they can do. They're not like fighters or so. There's not really a power balance or power system in Gensoki or so. They all are like overpowered or so. And so to like keep things under control is like when they have like issues with each other that they fight out via Damaku or so, which is like more about style and elegance, beauty than like, you know, brute forcing it. And characters like Marisa who are like just a human, you know, and no special ability they're like born with. They thrive like in this kind of environment. It's kind of like cool to see like what she can like do, like Master Spark, like putting like this kind of device into her room so that she can fly like faster, you know, something like that. Like when you can kind of overcome like the gap with like hard work, and also like the Damaku system's like there that you do not kill people, so like when Reimu like, you know, this incident and, you know, when she would normally exterminate yokais, but with that she has no need to, and for some reason yokais love her or something like that. They like to hang out with her when it's like kind of like, yeah, Mendokse, and then yeah, let them alive, you know. But I suppose, you know, Zun came like up with that while he's drunk. It's actually like, you know, if you're like drunk, you don't necessarily lie. You go like with the flow. And it works, I suppose. But I suppose like back in days it worked better because there was like not much on distraction like nowadays. Not much on distraction like nowadays. I could like say, yeah, I wasted time, but let's say, at least I didn't doom scroll, you know? I lived like my childhood back in the days. Played my games. It was like a lot of blissful ignorance in my life back in the days. Which mask do I draw on her? I think the fun part will be the masks. Like regarding drawing Kokoro. I never drew her until now. I never made art of her until now. Those would be like something. Experience for me. Where do I position the mask? Maybe like on the top right, yeah. I find interesting like in MDs, you know, like how they portray like the emotions like of Kokoro, you know. I always like saw it like via sprites in games, but it was always interesting how would you like pull that off animations or like MMD, you know, like how a lot of like other Touhou fan work has been like done. And yeah, they do that via like moving the mask, and so oh well, I'm gonna like see what I come up with. I will be interested like when Minus T Sensei at some point like comes to part on adapting the fighting games thing. And how will he portray it if he ever comes to that point? Because like the making of like those Damaku animated like Damaku battles on like Reimu versus Yukari or or like a Yuko, you know, or like Rainbow vs Marisa, like those Damako battles, but like in 3D. They take like years because it's like a one-man project and it's like all done via Blender. Blender's like really high quality, but you take a lot more time on like working on that. And man, it's beautiful. It's like a lot better than like whatever you see like from Disney nowadays, like with the remakes. It's got a lot more soul, a lot more like purpose. And the thing is, like, it's made by one person, like not like by a multi-billion company that has like a lot of manpower. So, and just like the work of a singular person has a lot more meaning than like whatever the big boys are like doing. Why? Actually, you can't like say big boys. It's not individual really there. It's just like some faceless corporation or so, in a sense. With some corporations, you can like really identify them, you know, when they have like a face, you know, a mascot, or someone that's popular, like Yago from Whole Life, from Cover Cop, you know, you can kind of like, you know, okay, there's some personality, or like when we have like Reggie Iwata, you know, at Nintendo, they had like some humor, they made like things entertaining. The new CEO is like their Doug Bowser, you know. But let's say they are not as vibrant as like, not really memorable. Like they haven't like showed themselves like from their personality really. It's like really corporate with them. It's kind of like, you know. I know Doug Bowser because, you know, he has the same name as like Bowser, I suppose. And that's about it. But other than that, I don't know. What are they like? You know, do they have a dream like Yago, like that, you know, that they're idol corporation or whatever? Not really, you know. It's like the thing. I mean, I cannot remember them besides like one gimmick, and that's about it, I suppose. Then they're really shallow. That's why I think like the guy like Dirty Armor's like more memorable. Like with Goblin Slayer. Man, I like this guy. But if it comes like the generic isekai, it's kinda like, you know, well, maybe I remember how cringe they were, but they were free, I suppose. Sometimes if I also had time to like remember names, some people I like I've met also. It's not necessarily that I have issues like on remembering them, like general, it's just like they're so important that that my brain was like, yeah, let's erase this memory. This was like not important anyways, kind of. The brain actually like, you know, is pretty like high functioning. How to say? High performance kind of thing in our body. Very high performance. Even if you're not fully understanding acoustically what the person's saying, your brain is like coming up with like fillers to like finish the sentence, you know? Like, what did he probably say? Even if they're not really audible. Like kind of like putting the puzzle piece together. And then like, ah, you said that properly, and then yeah, okay. I'm gonna get that for you. Just wait a minute and something like that, you know. But when it comes like to things that are like not important, then we'll also like erase that. It's like why sometimes studying can be like a pain, you know? When you are like way too comfortable with like relaxing, slacking and so, then it provides like the information of like how you beat this boss, how do you speedrun this hit list, you know, this and that, a lot more than like some kind of like history lessons or like the names of like whoever you don't care about, you know, and then yeah. So what you have to do is like kind of exposure therapy, you know. I would like say. Like getting exposed to the same thing over and over again, you know? Like trying to like swallow the whole medicine in one go, which is like super bitter, might not be the way to go if it comes like to remembering things. It's like really like about exposure, like I think, suppose. You try over and over, until your brain is like, yeah, I see that too many times, let me remember that then. Your brain is not necessarily your thoughts, I would like say. Sometimes it's like rebels against you. It's like fighting against your demons, let's say it like that. Your brain is not necessarily your friend. It's always like good to like clean the house, do the dishes and so, but your brain's like, nah, let's not do that. You had like fun playing this game yesterday. Why not do that rather than like some chores? No, I know what's good for you. Something like that, you know. And doesn't have to be like the dishes or like, you know, getting out the trash. Can be like something productive, like learning a new language, you know. Man, I'm gonna go to Japan at some point, I need to practice that, and it's like, nah, you hate that. It was kind of like, pretty exhausting, kind of annoying. You know, we waste like, I don't know, 5 minutes of our time. Why not use that 5 minutes to like, on this game, by the way, on this daily of gacha, you know? Whatever, you know? So yeah. Brain can be bad. Especially like with those things nowadays with apps, notifications, so they can also distract us. It can be pretty fun to just like sit, no maybe not sit, but it can be pretty like tempting to just sit, do nothing. No, not nothing, but like be on the phone and like watch like something you can laugh about. You see like some cute girls, like if it's like a Chinese gacha game, you know. You know, something like that, and then yeah. And just enjoy the waifus. Not having to worry about chores, work, a job. It's like escaping to somewhere else. Maybe this is like why isekai is like there. I don't know. Hikikomoris. The things like hikikomoris. It's like they shut themselves in maybe because of trauma, you know. But sometimes if you're like really cynical, it's like, man, they don't really provide anything of society, you know, they don't lift a finger, they just shut themselves in, play games, you know, and when they get a second chance, something like that, you know. Second chance in the sense of like, you know, Truck-kun delivers them to isekai world, they can cheat power, then yeah. And then they get a harem, defeat the demon lord. Make like achievements all of a sudden, you know, actually, and getting respected by society. Oh, he's a hero. Please make a statue out of him. Whatever. Here's my money, and you have my daughter. And what, you know, Hmm. You know, and then people like watch that shit. Instead of like doing the chores. Instead of like working towards their goals. And be like, man, I want to live like that too. Please give me the chance as well. Always like sitting on the couch, eating some chips, you know, and not lifting a finger. Like effortlessness, you know. Well, I think like I was like thinking about some stuff like that back in the days as well. How would it, you know, what would I do if I was in a situation? Could I get to that too, please? Release me from this pain, but nah. You really have to like to play with the cards that have been dealt with you. Do not run away from that. Focus. Challenge your fate. You can do it, I suppose. Okay, let me see. I need a reference to the mask. Oni mask? Touhou? Oh, there it is. One example, cool. Okay, how do I draw this? Do I start with the color? Let's start with the color. For the mask at the very least. I'm gonna make a separate folder for this. The mask is like pretty big, since I can cover the whole face. A mask can cover the whole face potentially, so this kind of have to make sense design-wise. Yeah, I think drawing the mask will be the most interesting part than drawing Kokoro. But it will also be like the part that takes me the longest. I need some reference pictures. Hata no Kokoro. I need a picture of her with the Oni mask on. And then using that as a reference. I suppose. I'm pretty sure it will not get that much attention when it comes like to Touhou. A lot of like artists that I followed because of their Touhou fan art, they converted to like gacha games characters, like drawing fan art for like gacha game characters, you know, like Blue Archive or like Genshin or Yoverse stuff, you know. They do like a lot better of like the gacha game thing rather than like the niche of like Touhou. It's understandable, I must like say. But just like, I suppose I do that like for passion and like training as well, like just practicing, polishing my skills in like drawing. Might say grind set, I suppose. But men are like not all about like, you know, we have to train like for 24 hours, we have to be a Giga-chan macho, we have to train our muscles, be like Goku, you know, something like that. But yeah, some people have like their dreams and goals. Some people like want to like draw what they appreciate, you know. At the very least, I was like able to draw like the Holo members, you know. Okay, maybe I like missed like only like one Holo Star member that like credited very early, but yeah, I did like majority so far. It would be for sure like pretty cool to be able to try every single Touhou character before also like you know, reach my expiration date, I suppose. Before I like am not in this world anymore. I think like everyone has like some kind of bucket list, you know, but not like realized one yet because I still have enough time before like, you know, before that. I think people don't really necessarily think about their potential end, you know, their finale. Maybe some people don't think it's like gonna be finale, it's just like a day like every hour, you know. It's always like nice to like think about the here now, like to just focus on here now rather than like think about a potential future where you are not in the world anymore, you know. And let's say when I played like Refined Self, you know, personality test game, there's also like a point where you have like, you know, you have limited lifespan and you can like do whatever you can want in this limited time span to like determine your like personality type. And when I was like, you know, going through and then like, okay, you have only one action left, what are you gonna do with your last action, you know? If I think about that in real life, what would be the last thing I would like to do? It's also the thing. And what would I regret on not doing, you know? Would I have any regrets left? Well, I can draw. But did I draw really everything that I liked? That I enjoyed? I sure would love to like draw everything that I did enjoy in my life and appreciate. So far, not everything has been like drawn yet, but I think I'm gonna get there. Maybe my art streams will focus around that. I'm gonna draw not only Shioko, normal Shioko, but also Shioko Terra, I suppose. Oh, this is interesting with the mask, I must like say. The face shape. How different it is. It has horns, I remember. Okay. More interesting for me than trying Kokoro is like the mask. I'm making it detailed. Let's make it like somewhat bold and then like draw the horns. That looked kinda good, so I would say. Then it had like something of a bold. Or maybe like receding hairline. I need that reference for sure. Doko no kana here? Yeah, maybe something like that. It had pretty big horns. Pretty large ones. Let's go like with that. Oni mask. Like the same species as like Remram. Summary 0. Like some kind of demon. Some sort of yokai. You can like shoot them away with like throwing beans at them. Which is interesting. Oh no, you're throwing beans at me! No, I hate that! Ow, ow! But yeah, this only mask had hair, has hair. So it needs a little bit of volume. I'm not sure like how much. It's my first time trying that. My first time trying Kokoro. And the mask stuff. I must like say it's interesting. I like it. I have to fight this though when I like have to color Kokoro from there on. And then it has some kind of aura around it. If I'm gonna remove this red from here and put like a blue aura around it. I have to make another layer. And then underneath like something bluish. I also have to I don't not forget like there are some kind of strings around the mask. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's kinda cool. You know, I think like Kokoro was pretty cool when I saw like this kind of mask and the aura stuff around it. And I was like thinking, man, she had aura. Like not by word, but I think like this was kind of the feeling I had, like looking at her, and she had like some kind of energy, like something about her, something special about her. That kind of like made me, wow, I want to know more about this girl. I think I drew the wrong layer. But yeah, this was kind of the idea. Put something underneath, something blue, and then aura. Make sure that's like fluctuates, like not something straight, like fluctuating like a flame. Like this aura stuff. Okay. Something. And then something of a string. How long though? How long do I draw this though? Very long. Okay, this is pretty long. Okay, then use the red color there. This string stuff is pretty long. It's somewhere around the mouth area. Yeah. You can play around with that to cover the whole body, and like something like a bushy ending around this. I think around here, this part. Can get pretty playful and creative. Okay, let's see. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna hide this layer for a while and work on it once I'm like done coloring the base with Kokoro. Which color scheme do I use? From Hopeless Masquerade or like Urban Legend Limbo? Maybe like Hopeless Masquerade. Let's see like how good this works. I think the next time I'm gonna draw her, I will find a way to simplify the mask. It was like kind of fun though, like to do the first time ever. That's like what I wanted to try. Like a little bit more. It's like having a new toy and like trying to like play around with that. But once you understand it, then yeah, it's like a different story. I do want like to work on the line weight a little bit more. Monancho. And sometimes I get so absorbed in like drawing. And like kind of like amazed by what I'm like doing there. Rather than like talking about like something like usual, you know, something else. Something trivial, I suppose. I think I dreamt like something this night, but I can't like remember that much anymore. I can't remember it anymore. Was it? Would it be worth to talk about it? Not really, but I have like kind of the feelings like there that I did something wrong. I feel conflicted, kind of like, maybe not conflicted, but it's kind of like, I raise my eyebrow and be like, what did I do wrong, you know? I just did my thing, you know? Nothing to get angry about. And then yeah. And there were like many points where it's like, where I see like the point of view from like the bird perspective, or like I'm inside myself. The point of view myself, like first person perspective, and not like third person, you know, but like bird perspective. Actually, how do I try a pattern? Actually, it's not that difficult, actually, I must like say. Just like with Ame, there's a pattern. Like regarding the pattern I like talking about, Kokoro wears like something like, she wears a shirt and has like a pattern on it that's like a square-ish, maybe like wood chopper shirt, you know? But in that case, like two tones of like blue that are like over each other, like in squares. I'm gonna like figure that out, I suppose, how I would do this. So I used the color scheme. Let's use the color scheme from Urban Legend Limbo from Harukawa Moe. Maybe this works. Do I like this? I don't know. Not as too... Well, it was pinkish hair. Pinky-ish hair. But man, I do like Touhou. I do like Touhou. Okay, you like Touhou? Name every Touhou character. Oh gosh. You know, if I at least see a name, I can like... I know like which face. But like coming up like directly for everyone will be hard. I can't like do this kind of test like that Marine, for example, that Hosho Marine. Like where she can just recognize characters by just their face. And let's say like the art is like not necessarily the best drawn, so yeah. But Marine's pretty good. I would need a reference also, maybe at some point. Touhou Project. Touhou Project. I think there was a meme like about it as well, more or less. You know, like Toby Fox, who did like Undertale. He's like a fan of Touhou and of Sin. And when you have played this game and know like a little bit played also Touhou, you can recognize that like there are like things around the attack patterns of like some monsters there that are like inspired by like some spell cards or like non-spell cards in Touhou. Like Asriel attack patterns really inspired by Marisa's one. So much so that there's like also like a fan animation with like Asriel Dreamer versus Marisa. It's like pretty similar. But if you see a side-by-side comparison like in-game, you know, you have like it's a little bit funny, you know, because it's kind of the final moment in like Undertale's game, you know, and it has like the start off of like doom 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 doom, you know, something like that. And when we go like comparison to like Marisa, you know, it's like a fight Remy versus Marisa in Perishable Night, and then you have like a lot more, I don't know, groovier, uplifting, cooler music. Goes like, I don't know, like ba ba bam ba ba bam ba ba bam ba 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 bam, something like that, you know. And the complexity of like Marisa's spell there, maybe like magnetic mode, looks a lot more flashy and cooler than whatever was like in Undertale. When you had the side-by-side comparison, like super unfair, you know. You like kind of think, man, Touhou looks like so fire, you know, and a lot more difficult, but the thing that carries like Undertale is like storytelling, leaving a message, the programming, and so not necessarily like about the flashiness of like stuff. It's about about a message, you know, saying a message. Not necessarily about aura farming or so. But tools are very much about aura farming or so. Characters overpowered, holy crap, some can stop time, some can like some control or like puppets or so, like let them fight or whatever. Some can end the world. There's like a fucking bird like roots like about nuclear power or so, whatever, you know. And we're doing other things like mind reading or so, the psychology like kind of stuff. And yeah. I think like Sanae was like something about influencing luck also, and Emilia about controlling fate or influencing fate to some extent. Some do magic, yeah. Kinda like that. There's like a character in there that has similar ability to like Killer Queen, you know, but just not like via contact, like touching it, but like just looking at it, grab its eye, then bam, when Killer Queen bites that dust or whatever, you know, like just destroying it, polarizing it. There's a force of destruction like there. I'm not sure if there's like someone who can like Crazy Diamond like restore everything. I know there's like a healer character in some healers in there, like some doctors, but I'm like not sure like if it's to the extent that it's like Crazy Diamond healing, you know. But yeah, regarding like some stuff like in Touhou, some things are like inspired by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I would say. Yaredase. Maybe not this one, but like, and Dios. Like stopping time, throwing knives, you know, something like that. Sakuya is like doing the same thing. Zawaldo! Stir Platinum! Zawaldo! And then Sakuya activate her spell card, Illusion Zawaldo. And yeah. But it's cool, it's pretty cool. The theme song is like nice. And I'd blast like playing the indie game Touhou Lunar Nights. Just the time stopping ability, you know, manipulation of time. It was so freaking cool, like, to use that to fight. But as an indie game, you can like play that pretty quickly, like in a few sessions. Maybe like in one session if you're really good. And if you play like your cards right, you're like pretty unbeatable. Now that I kind of like think about it. There was like this stove fighting game series. And when I look like at some tournaments like Pachi player versus a Sakura player, man, Sakura seems like pretty OP. Like with the block strings and everything. I know like of someone in the Smash scene or so who played this somewhat competitively. He shared like some links with me. Like it's the same guy I talk about. Like I sent like too many music videos and at some point it's kind of like, I don't know, squinting or like giggling or so, making like fun of me. I'm like so passionate about the same franchise he like plays a game of or so. I'm kind of like heartbroken, I don't know. But he sent me like some stuff and it's kind of like, yo, it's like fucking sick, you know? Like the combo game. What kind of beautiful combos you like can make, like how to bury guards or so. You can also fly in this like fighting game or so. It's not like necessarily like about anti-air or so, and like you can stall, it's like, I don't know, it's like pretty cool, I don't know. It's pretty cool. There's like I don't necessarily understand the back building stuff on so, and what kind of combos exist there. I think like some people like keep it a secret from each other. Maybe like only like via Nico Doga you can like find like more. I'm not really sure like about how it all extends to, where it all extends to. Like if you look like for getting better in Smash Brothers, then you will like find something like on YouTube, you know. But it's something that was like pretty much like Japan only, like for a longer time, you know. Of course, it's like at some point to the West, maybe because of like things like Bad Apple or so, or like Alice found the precious things or so. Ia-san, 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 Ich-ni-san, 1, 2, guten Morgen. Oh, sorry, no. But yeah, there was brain rot out there. A little bit of meme, but I think like it was like brain rot, some catchy songs and so. And then the rest was history. Some brain rot songs, some catchy ones. I think there was like something with Ronald McDonald and the like UN au revoir. Like Flandris theme. It's kind of like where do you make the connection like between those two? It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah. But I know like some people like are really afraid of clowns and so, really hate them. And then like whenever they meet like Richard McDonald's, you know, Ronald McDonald's, yeah, Ronald McDonald's, like the clown character, they're just gonna run away screamingly. Oh, the color palette is not necessarily like good. I use like the color palette from Hopeless, not Urban Legend Limbo. Doesn't really fit that much. Maybe like a little more, huh? Maybe this one will do. And then play a little bit around with the balance, with the colors. I'm not necessarily good at it. Can try though. So if I put on the mask, yeah, kinda see the vision. But I need to like make sure that it looks good at the end. I might have to edit it a little bit, like in a photo editing program, like regarding colors, finding a proper balance there. But I think I will post it when on an appropriate day. There will be Kokoro day, like her birthday, basically. I posted like the Koishi picture like today as well. Like today is like Koishi day. So far posted on Instagram, Blue Sky and like Pixiv X I did ignore. But yeah, there's not much social media out there. That is like also wide-reaching like X. There's not much, you know. Not saying there's nothing, but there's not much. I think envy can be a good thing. I look at the reference and be like, man, those are really good art. This is really good art. I want to be good at this too, you know. And this kind of like give you enough fuel to like also push yourself. It will only look like things like motivation, your main energy to like bring up motivation, or like time are like the only hurdles. But if you're already like drawn to gacha games, a job that is like is like draining you out of every juice you have with like overtime, whatever. Yeah, I guess all you're left is like with bitter feelings and like envy. Looking like at the top of, you know, looking to the top, some mountain that you can like climb over. Well, if that's a problem, hey, just like release some weight off of yourself and get easier climb, you know. But if it's like that, you have to sacrifice something, you know. It might be a lot of things you have to let go of to finally climb. But this is like basically it, you know. It might be like some losers you hang out, some friends but that are like losers, you know. And you don't hang out with those are bad friends or whatever, you know. They drag you down like in this kind of like crab bucket like metaphor, you know. That they don't want you to succeed also, and they just pull you down. I figured I had like some of those friends, you know. I don't really have many real life friends anymore, so I basically let go, but it's not really like that I realized that they like drag me down. It's kind of like I don't really have time anymore. And focus on like other stuff, you know, and then yeah. It's kind of like that, I suppose. But then also I noticed, man, I have a lot more free time now. I can like draw and I can write stuff. I can like do my streaming YouTube channel, so it's like pretty cool. Of course, I do need more time to like really like, you know, the things like about being a YouTuber is also to make like videos, you know. Only live streaming alone is not necessarily enough, but if you like need something in the background, well, that's good enough. Do you have like someone like me like yapping around while something in the background is in the making, like about to be like completed. Some things I'm pretty experienced, you know. I do have like a lot of like how to like finish stuff. But with other stuff, it's like, oh, I do this the first time, you know. Actually, I'm a human being. I actually have to develop myself. I do have my humble beginnings somewhere, you know. And yeah. I do struggle as well. And then yeah, here we are. Pretty long hair. Drawing pretty long hair can be pretty exhausting, pretty difficult. I have respect for a lot of artists that can like do that. Like Arise from Blue Archive, you know? Really long hair. It goes like down to her foot or so. Like her hair. And then I like mad lads, you know, who also like draw Dakimakuras, and it's a full body, and then long hair, then yeah, that is like something you do to yourself. And if you play around with like, you know, flutters the wind, you know, then there are also like many ways to like draw. Yeah, that's like fluttering the wind, and off. It's amazing, it's beautiful, but think about the effort. Yo. This can train you already. But if you already are pro, you did like often enough to like not really have to think too much about it, not to worry about it, then it can get pretty amazing, the results. The amazing can get pretty amazing. I'm way too much of a analog guy, not digital. So there's only so much I can like do. Sometimes I'll do something randomly and be like, oh, actually this is not bad, and then I have to like kind of like figure out how did I do this again, you know, that I can like pick that back up, you know, not this was like a random button mash or something like that. Like sometimes when I was like a kid, you know, was in the Gamescom, and then there was like a new Street Fighters, you know, and then I would also just button mash, and then like there would be like some random like Shoryuken, some kind of like Tatsumaki Senpukyaku and whatever, like Hadouken, you know, it kind of like chain to each other, and I just like button mash. But then actual player comes like to me, he just like with punishes me for everything I'm with, and then it's like, yeah, okay, I have no chance against like a actual Street Fighter gamer, you know, and yeah. So it's like not necessarily that you do like things randomly and then things turn out like to be okay. You actually have to like do consistently, you know. Like when you figure out, oh, okay, this worked before, then you need to remember how did you do this, you know. With Kenji Yonezu, for example, every song he like writes is different from the other song. Like there's Iris out, right? Super popular, but there's also like, how's it called? The ending song in Chainsaw Man movie. I don't know how. Oh gosh, I forgot. Whatever. Then there's Lemon, you know. Hodo. Like, or like the Chainsaw Man opening, you know. All of the songs sound different from each other. Could it be that he does it randomly? Or is he able to like... Is he so skillful that he can like, you know, write a masterful piece in like a music genre? Probably it is like that he is like a master or so. Something like that. Very, very skilled. Maybe talented as well. A mix of both. Like, he has like a background of like Vocaloid music. Creating that. And transferring that into... like the music making of... some anime stuff he worked on. Could be pretty convincing. But yeah, what I kind of want to say is like it's important to like to know what you did, to be aware of like what you have done. When you find a solution to something, you know, this could be a breakthrough potentially for a whole group. Like just coming up with the idea, wow, 1 + 1 is like 2. Write it down, you know? Now we found an issue to that problem, the solution to this problem, let's go! And this can happen like, majority as well. I find like cool when like, the artist tips, you know? Like when some artists like share like, that tip on like how to draw anime eyes, I suppose, maybe like the most common, but it is like something, you know? It is something. Something that can be helpful for like everyone. It's not necessarily like that people like work for them alone, for themselves alone, but actually like in a unity. End of the day, we are just social creatures, you know. We are searching connection, craving something. And some things are like difficult to pull off alone. That's why there are companies and so when they hire workers. But at the same time, they are like money making, kind of like, at least they want to make some money, and when they're willing to like throw some under the bus, it's also like, as well, you know. For people that are like pretty human, you know, still, they haven't like lost their soul. This can like look pretty I think like, you know, with Gen Z, not able to like find work, for example, or like at least like quitting halfway, is because they have like still their principles. And then, yeah, it's kind of a sign, hey, you need to change your ways, be corpo, you know, this like not doing fine, that's not fire, whatever, you know. But yeah. Just more difficult than thought to make this look good. What do I do? どうしようかな? どうしようかな? That's 2 hours in. 2 hours in. The pattern's complicated. Maybe I do watercolors over it, Like, I use a brush, not a pencil. Can an airbrush work? Let me try. Let me try. The thing is, like, those squares are really uneven. There's like irregularity about this. Somewhat chaotic, but also in order. Which makes it interesting to look at. At the same time, kind of like puzzling to look at as well. Maybe not puzzling, but as an artist I think it's kind of like, yeah, this is difficult, it's not necessarily easy. How do I do this? I think I have like something slowly. I hope so. I think so. It's like starting to take shape. Somewhat. Okay, fix shape. Okay. Okay, when I try to do like stuff with the mask, then I would like call it quits, I would say. Like make this color here more solid. the horns also roughly the same color. Okay, first of all, I kind of need to make sure that's solid. Looks solid. The aura. A little bit more. Okay, I'm kinda shutting up, you know. Not saying much, you know. I'm like pretty focused. But it's like kind of fascinating for me, like the normas and like drawing them, I must like say. Like some piece of like Japanese culture in there that's like hidden in like Touhou lore. Smartly implemented there. And kinda, you know, when I appreciate like Touhou Project is kinda also like about this part of Japanese culture, you know. Oh, Japanese culture, very interesting, you know. They have like this funny mask that they can buy at Matsuri. Oh wow. And yeah. It's like kind of like a smart way to do that. And if you have like something that's based on a story, something of that, it can be pretty Can be pretty cool, you know, like how people like write stories about heroes, you know, and then yeah, it's something. Well, hero stories are not necessarily like a thing that's based on like older culture, like with Greek mythology or whatever, but you know, it's a theme that's popular, it sells, you know, and then obviously, you know, there can be like some stories to be made. Also like some rumors about vampires, you know, like regarding like garlic also, or like that wooden kind of like thing can impale them. It's like one of the reliable weapons against them, or like silver with like werewolves, for example, as well. And there's like a lot for like everybody like there to figure out, like figure out on some stuff, or like how people like theorize about a zombie apocalypse, and then okay, we need a team and something like that. Or would we be screwed if the zombie apocalypse would be happening? Can we do something about that? You know, it's like things like that, I suppose. It can like make people creative, excited, and so. You just have to figure out like how to do this properly, lift the mask, and how I can make it like look more scary also, or like I'm getting there. It's kind of fun to like play around something I'm not familiarized myself with. But if I'm like getting done with that, you know, then I might like have a better run the next time. Sometimes like you know, the struggle from back in the days of like gaming. Yeah, like there are like a lot of those moments as well. Like I had like not many games, you know, on like the Game of example. There were like things like Super Mario also, Castlevania, Mega Man, and they're not easy, but for me back in the days was like, it's all I have, you know, so I'm gonna try like to figure out how to beat that. And let's say with Mega Man I was like pretty good. I never finished it, but I was pretty good compared to like nowadays. But if it comes to Super Mario, today me can like beat it one try. Like I don't have to restart a whole run or so. I can do it just one try, while past me never was I able to get to the last level or so. So yeah, things have like changed for sure, like with me being able to like tackle on like those difficult games properly. But still there are some things that suck, of course. Not sure how I would like do it like Dark Souls. Souls-like games. But I would like try that out. I have like the games bought, you know. If I have like Dark Souls done, then there's Elden Ring, or like the Samurai Dark Souls like. What was it called? It's not Neo. That's like one where you parry a lot. Maybe at Bloodborne's as well. Could also be like cool to try out. Bloodborne's. I remember playing it a few times when I visit a friend. And I was never able to like really beat the first boss. At some point, the friend piloted for me and still like failed. But he did better than me. I didn't really got to know how on like how to play that. But after I got like competitive more like in Smash Bros and have like fundies, maybe I can do it now, you know. Remember like how I have the strat to like fight against Mr. Shakedown in Yakuza 0. I'm looking forward to like play it again, you know. And maybe have like a better time in like fights. Not that I always have to rely on like medicine to like, you know, whenever I do a mistake. I can finally do it like flawlessly. That would be like something I'm looking forward to. Maybe at some point. This game is like pretty long though. So I probably will take like up a few months with like my current tempo. It's like, some people say it's an 80-hour game or so. But maybe the whole playtime's maybe like 30 to 40 minutes, you know? Same time I'm like a completionist, and you can like use the time to like fill up like your catalog on like streaming. Okay, it will be mostly Yakuza, but it is like, you know, this is a good game, a lot of content, and I would like to properly reflect like how the experience is, I think, for someone who plays this the first time. But yeah. So I will do an additional layer and draw like the lines above it. I have to put my emphasis on her rising finger. Well, this is the best I've ever done. No, but it's the beginning. Regarding this art here. I'm a little bit critical on myself. It's not necessarily the best, but it's good enough. For the starters. Touhou characters are not easy to draw, I figure. Especially if they have some head accessories. The thing is, like with Touhou characters, they always have a head accessory or something. Maybe like a hat, maybe like a ribbon or so. If you don't put one, they will die. Or some things like the meme or so. Give them some weird faces. But man, Kokoro is like a stoic beauty. Like her face is completely like blank, but she's beautiful. Even if she expresses herself, like the face is like completely stoic. And if you look at her frame, like how small she is, you know, long hair, like well maintained, she's dancing, she has like some elegance about her. I don't know. Maybe I'm falling in love as well, you know, if I look at it more and more. So yeah, I'm looking forward like to figurines and like buying that. And I can like look at them from all angles rather than like a static one. Even though if some artists like, man, you know, it's like I look at this for like 10 hours. It's beautiful. Or like this for me or so. But if it comes like to abstract art and so, you know, like Dali or whatever, or whoever, Leonardo da Vinci? No, maybe. Dali is like more abstract, or surreal. If it comes like to more abstract art, I don't necessarily understand like how people like find great about that, you know. Let's say it's like a horse, but it's like looks really like deformed You know, as if you put a filter above that, when people be like, yo, this is fire, you know, like back in the days. But nowadays, now that there's artificial intelligence and does generate like some arts, will be critics like look at that and be like, holy crap, like expression is, what kind of expression this? The amount of detail to this. I wonder like how they are like feeling about this. You know, like from me on my side, I only like saw that from the point of view of like weeps, you know, and like gamers. But tech pros be like, yo, this good also. They're like AI pros, you know. I'm not necessarily sure like how critics, art critics, you know, who look like at paintings like Mona Lisa or like back in the days, would like think about that. Not sure really. Maybe I can like Google and be like art critic looks at AI art or so. There's probably something. It's just like I don't have the knowledge of that yet. Never got curious enough to like inform myself about like what they think. Necessarily I don't care what other people think, but sometimes there's like the curiosity, and then yeah, can't be helped. Shoganai, then let's take a look. Then yeah. But yeah, some people who are like thinking about the numbers, statistics, and so okay, we don't have to pay an artist, you know, art comes like immediately out if you type in the right prompt, something like that. Then there's also video generation, and yeah, but the drawback is like it takes a lot of like electricity. It's really expensive like in this kind of department, and also like increasing the RAM prices, you know. So like people who like want to build their own PC, or like who are interested in buying like a functioning PC that can also run games, or like some kind of like tasks, you know, like editing videos like that are like hours long. You need also like a good kind of like processor there, good hardware, something like that. So like the need for those are like pretty high. Since like generative AI has been a thing. That's a little bit, it's sad kind of. Especially like how unfriendly it is like to artists. The current playing field is not really good. So like, yeah, I don't have like the best data handle like this kind of thing there. Like, I would like say. That's why I'm not really like motivated to like draw. Even though I like drawing. Maybe I'm not, let's say like I'm not motivated to like post anymore. Like I don't see the point. But also, there are other platforms like Instagram also has like something like AI there. If they only have like, you know, some kind of like terms of service you can agree to, yeah, we're gonna change it up and I'm gonna use your post from now on. Do you agree to like this and that, you know? Then if we can at least say no, if you have a decision, if you have a choice, would be great, but they did not, you know. It's similar to like Windows when they like install like just Windows 11 without asking you too much, and then kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like where things have like gone, but I suppose so be it. Okay, let me look at it. Am I happy about this? I think like I'm gonna give like the hand like a little bit more line weight, and then I would like call it quits, I suppose. like Expressive Poker Face. I want to like do something with body language, you know, like the pose like Subaru does sometimes. Oh, you look at this pose and be like, oh, that's Subaru, you know. Some ReZero, on the main character there. More line weight on that. Now let me think. Can I add something? Okay, I think this can work. I think I can leave it at around here. And tomorrow I will like draw Blue Archive fan art. I'm gonna draw Shiroko. I'm not sure if I'm gonna draw in big or like in small. We're gonna like see. Any case, thank you all for watching, I would say. And have a nice rest of the day. Evening, good night. Whatever time zone the world you all are. And with that, I'm going to say bye bye.